Media Group Newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Clinton School District is continuing its progress on a long-discussed plan to consolidate its elementary grade levels. Superintendent Drew Goebel says the current system, which has been in place for over a decade, splits preschool, kindergarten, and first grade students between two different campuses. The district is continuing to move forward to bring pre-K into one building and K through first grade into another.
For over a decade, all of the preschool, kindergarten, and first grade students have been split up. Half the kids are at Lincoln School over there behind Mach 1, and the other half of the kids are at Douglas School, kind of north of the YMCA. As a result, we have one principal that literally bounces back and forth between those two schools and does not have an assistant principal. So if there is a need at Douglas, but the principal is at Lincoln, that support is not in place. And I think a key part of my job as the superintendent is to make sure teachers and students are supported. When you essentially have divided up your resources and split things up, I think it makes it extremely difficult. And so this is not a new concept for Clinton. We've been discussing this for many years. I chose as the superintendent to bite the bullet.
To prepare for the transition, renovations are already underway at Lincoln School. Goebel says the district is utilizing its own maintenance staff to remodel the library to create more classroom space while keeping costs down.
Now we're into the stages of moving, how that's going to look, how we're going to box things up. The library in Lincoln School, we are having to do a renovation of the library to make better use of the space. There's different little changes that we've had to do to make that adjustment. Nothing out of this world. We are putting a wall in the library to create another room, and so and it's I'm trying to think of like the percentage. So it's not like a right down the middle. We're shaving off a small portion. But I'll say this: our librarian Carrie Ray Kaczynski, she's been working her tail off and been an excellent team player in redesigning and in helping with that renovation. We've been fortunate, even our maintenance crew, Ryan Black and Jeff Harold, they are able to do a lot of that renovations in-house. We don't have to hire a contractor to come in. These guys can do plumbing, electrical, drywall. I mean, you name it, those guys, they're like Tim the Tool Man. But besides that, I look forward to even having an assistant principal there. We'll have two administrators in the building because let's just say the principal is at a conference. We will still have an administrator to help out if there's a situation. Currently, that does not exist.
Under the new plan, Douglas School will house all preschool students, while Lincoln School will host the kindergarten and first grade classes. Goebel says a major benefit of the move is the addition of an assistant principal, ensuring an administrator is always on site.
The addition of an assistant principal is another staffing need. That's not a new request. That request to have an assistant principal has been asked for years and years. Now, I would not be in favor of just adding an assistant principal, but not restructuring so the assistant principal can then bounce back and forth between the two schools. I don't think that's the best plan. But when we combine, and to be clear, the preschool will be at Douglas. So kindergarten and first grade will be at Lincoln School. And that's where the principal will be at most of the time. And then the assistant principal will be at Lincoln School most of the time. And we will also in terms of like student needs, right now we have, we call it an SEL, an employee, social emotional learning, works with kids on social skills and just different things and emotional needs. That person right now bounces back and forth.
The restructuring is expected to streamline resources and provide more consistent social emotional support for students across both buildings. A Central Illinois Police Department is implementing a program that will soon be mandated by the state of Illinois. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross told the Heart Media Group the Blue Envelope program was sparked by a collaboration between the life skills class at Monticello High School and School Resource Officer Deputy Lindsay Bross of the Piatt County Sheriff's Office. The program provides resources for neurodivergent drivers on how to handle traffic stops.
Yeah, so it started here a few months ago. The life skills class here at the high school got a hold of Deputy Bross, their school resource officer, and then she kind of looped me into it to kind of go over traffic stops with some of their students that were possibly on the spectrum, excuse me, the autism spectrum, and going over what should happen if you get pulled over, no one's out there to hurt anybody, but just processes to go through if in case you are stopped. So that started that ball rolling. We spent a little bit of time on that with some of their drivers. And then the state of Illinois came out with a Blue Envelope program, which is kind of an outreach for those that are on the spectrum. I think the proper term is neurodivergent drivers.
While the state of Illinois recently announced a similar statewide initiative, Chief Bross did not want to wait for the red tape to clear. He is moving forward now with a tangible tool, a bright blue envelope that identifies the driver as being on the autism spectrum to prevent any potential misunderstandings regarding their behavior. The envelope provides a roadmap for the officer on how to de-escalate a situation through specific tactical changes, such as turning off certain lights to prevent sensory overload. Chief Bross says they adapted the program locally by working with the Piatt County Mental Health Center. Residents interested in obtaining a blue envelope for themselves or a family member can contact the Monticello Police Department or speak with Deputy Bross at the high school. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Heart Media Group owner Matt Hartz talking about being in front of our audience on multiple platforms.
This what we call the second screen, right? It's the phone, because now we don't watch television one screen at a time. We're constantly watching two screens. You might be watching the University of Illinois football game on Saturday on your big screen, but you've got your phone there. And when a commercial comes on or timeout comes on, you're watching that second screen. And we want to make sure that we're positioned to be on the second screen, whether it's social media, we want to be there.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in Clinton in August of 2025.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
Here are the contest rules for our stations. We allow one person per household to win any prize from the radio stations in a 30-day period. Unless otherwise stated, all prizes are to be picked up within 2 weeks at the studios inside the Big Red Barn at 2980 U.S. Highway 51, 4 miles south of Clinton. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. weekdays. Any cash prize is mailed within 30 days of winning, only if cash winners call our business line within 2 weeks of their name being drawn to provide their mailing address. Employees and their families of Regional Radio are not eligible to participate or win any contest.
From the Heart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WHOW and all its digital platforms, the Clinton Maroons defeated the Marshall Lions by a final score of 58-45 in a Class 2A regional quarterfinal matchup on Monday night in Clinton. The two teams started even, but as Clinton started to slip midway through the first quarter, Coach Vic Binkley subbed in 6'5" junior Briggs White, who came in for a flurry of blocks to stop a Marshall run. Clinton led 18-17 after the first, but the Lions evened it at 26 going into the halftime break. Keaton Graves scored all of the Maroons' 8 second quarter points. The Maroons came alive in the fourth, trailing 37-35 going into the final frame. They outscored Marshall 21-10 to seal the win. Graves led all scorers with 32 points for Clinton. Jaden Bell had 9 points, while Keegan Donnery added 7. Garrett Pugh paced Marshall with 21 points, 11 of which came in the first quarter. Bryce Griggan added 8 points, and Brady Landris had 6. The Marshall Lions finished the season at 12-16. Clinton improves to 24-8 and will take on St. Joseph Ogden in St. Joe for the regional semifinal. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Hear all the action on WHOW and all its digital platforms. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Monticello overcame a 14-point first-half deficit and beat Sullivan 58-53 in a Class 2A regional quarterfinal matchup on Monday in Monticello. Redskins senior James Feldkamp had 11 points in the first quarter, staking Sullivan to a 19-11 lead. Sullivan would extend its lead to 14 points in the second quarter. Monticello battled back to cut the deficit to 29-23 at the half. Aiden McCool had 8 of his 21 points in the third quarter to get Monticello back in the game. 5 straight points from Matthias Rudolph to open the fourth quarter put Monticello in front for good. McCool's 21 points earned him the State Bank of Bement Player of the Game. Jake Motzgood had a double-double for Monticello with 11 points and 10 rebounds. Rudolph added 14 points. The Redskins finished their season at 19-11 overall. Monticello improves to 15-14 and advances to a Wednesday night regional semifinal against Tolono Unity at Maroa-Forsyth High School. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Maroa-Forsyth blew away Shelbyville in an 83-31 Class 2A regional quarterfinal on Monday night in Maroa. The Trojans flew out to a 49-15 lead at the half. Cabron Lee scored 29 points to lead Maroa-Forsyth. Kobe Lane added 16 points, and Cannon Grubbs finished with 15 points. Aiden Hardy scored 10 points to lead Shelbyville. The Rams end their season 10-18 overall. The Trojans go to 20-8 overall. Maroa-Forsyth will take on Westville on Wednesday in Class 2A regional semifinal action at 7:30 p.m. Champaign St. Thomas More scored 31 first quarter points and never looked back, rolling to a 79-57 win in Class 1A regional quarterfinal action in Champaign on Monday night. Owen Yeager scored 23 points to lead all scorers for the Sabres, who led 31-12 after one quarter. Ben Rafato had 15 points, and Rafael Dongo Kengu added 12 points. Jackson Finch and Isaiah Parks had 15 points apiece for the Bombers. Carter Logue added 8 points. The Bombers end the campaign at 9-22 overall. STM improves to 12-16. In high school boys basketball, regional quarterfinal scores from Monday night in Class 1A action. First-seeded Decatur Unity romped Blue Ridge, who was the 16 seed, 101-11, while 10th-seeded Heritage upset 7-seed Arcola 61-28. 12th-seeded Meridian upset number 5 Oka Valley 76-58, while number 15-seeded Judah Christian fell to 2-seed Cerro Gordo Bement 68-27. 3 seed Ridgeview took down 14th seeded Calvary Christian 68-29, while 8th seeded Oakwood beat the 9th seed Decatur St. Teresa 70-68. 11th seeded Tri-Point fell to the 6th seed Gibson City Melvin Sibley 54-38, while 5th seeded Heyworth took down 12th seeded Watseka 70-36. 1st seeded Leroy rolled a 6th seeded Iroquois West 64-21, while the 6th seed Central A&M took down 11th seeded Neoga 59-43. Number 5 Mount Pulaski won over the 12th seeded Fisher 55-43, while the 2 seed Tremont beat 15 Astoria 93-38. Top seeded Tuscola rolled Martinsville at the 16th seed 75-27, while top seeded DMAC beat 16th seeded Hartsburg Emden 75-31. 3 seed Cumberland took down the 4th seeded Arthur Levington Atwood Hammond 77-37. In Class 2A, 7 seed Auburn beat 10th seeded Buffalo Tri-City 56-34, while 7 seed Eureka took down the 10th seeded Peoria Notre Dame 44-40. 9 seeded Tri-Valley upset 8 seed Peoria Christian 57-39, while the 7th seed Pana took down 10th seeded Paris 66-49. The 8th seed Pleasant Plains beat 9th seeded Pittsfield 48-39. Michael Conforto is looking to regain his form with the Chicago Cubs. Conforto has agreed to a minor league deal with the Cubs that includes an invitation to Major League camp for spring training. The outfielder is expected to compete for a reserve role. Conforto, who turns 33 on Sunday, struggled last season after agreeing to a $17 million one-year contract for the LA Dodgers. He hit a career-low 199 with 12 homers and 36 RBIs in 138 games for the World Series champions, who did not use him in the postseason. Conforto steps into a crowded picture when it comes to Chicago's reserve outfielders. Chas McCormick and Dylan Carlson, 2 more veterans, are also in camp on minor league deals. Kevin Alcantara, one of the team's top prospects, is another option, and Matthew Shaw is expected to see some time in the outfield as part of his super utility role. Ian Happ and Pete Crow Armstrong are everyday outfielders for the Cubs, and Seiya Suzuki will play right or serve as the designated hitter most of the time. Conforto bats from the left side, while McCormick, Alcantara, and Shaw are all right-handed hitters. Carlson is a switch hitter. Counsell said Conforto, being a lefty batter, factored in the team's decision to take a closer look. Conforto was selected by the New York Mets with the number 10 pick in the 2014 amateur draft. He made his big league debut the following year. He had a breakout season with New York in 2017, making the NL All-Star team while batting .279 with 27 homers and 68 RBIs. He set career highs with 33 homers and 92 RBIs for the Mets in 2019. After sitting out in 2022 while he recovered from a right shoulder injury, Conforto signed a $36 million 2-year deal with San Francisco. He hit .237 with 20 homers and 66 RBIs in 2024 in his last year with the Giants. Conforto has a .245 batting average with 179 homers and 556 RBIs in 10 major league seasons of his career. The St. Louis Cardinals have signed infielder Ramón Urías to a $2 million one-year contract that includes a 2027 mutual option. He gets a $1.5 million salary this year, and the deal includes a $4 million mutual option with a $500,000 buyout. Urías can earn $2 million in performance bonuses for plate appearances as part of the deal announced Saturday, $125,000 for each .350 and .375, $200,000 apiece for .400 and .425, and $2,500,000 each for $450, $475, and $500, and $300,000 apiece for $525 and $550. The 31-year-old Urías played most of his career with the Baltimore Orioles before getting traded to the Houston Astros on July 31st. He hit .241 with 11 homers and 44 RBIs in 2025. Urías had his best season in 2022 when he hit 16 homers and won a Golden Glove at third base, his primary position. He also has experience at second base, shortstop, and first base. To make room for Urías on the roster, Baltimore designated right-hander Zach Kent for assignment. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.
This winter, your to-do list should include hot cocoa, and that's about it. At Hickory Point Garden Homes, snow removal and winter upkeep are already handled so you can enjoy an easier winter. Schedule a tour today by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. This winter, your to-do list should include hot cocoa, and that's about it. No planning for repairs, no worrying about upkeep, and absolutely no hassle. Because winters in Illinois can be unforgiving with cutting winds, fast falling snow, and driveways that are never quite clear. But at Hickory Point Garden Homes, snow removal, icy driveways, and winter wear and tear are already handled. So you're not braving the cold just to get out the door. If you're ready for a winter that feels easier, see Hickory Point Garden Homes by scheduling a tour today. Click on their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com today.
On the hunt for lost ROI? Chart a course and find hidden profit potential with Acuron Corn Herbicide. It's the only herbicide strong enough to bury competing weeds and help you unearth 5 to 15 more bushels per acre. How's that for hidden riches? Uncover the real value of Acuron at Acuron-herbicide.com. Acuron is a restricted use pesticide. Always read and follow label instructions.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Securing the southern border, that's one of the accomplishments that President Trump is expected to highlight when he goes prime time tonight, delivering his State of the Union speech. In light of the Supreme Court's ruling striking down the president's global tariffs, FedEx is suing the Trump administration. The package delivery giant seeks full refund for the tariffs it has paid. Today marks the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The attack makes other European countries anxious about their own sovereignty. More than a dozen senior European officials are visiting Kiev. It is a show of support for Ukraine. The snowblowers, the shovels, plows working overtime in the snowy Northeast. Utility crews are on the job as well, working to restore power to tens of thousands of utility customers. On Wall Street, Dow futures 43 points higher. More details, srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local news update. A Central Illinois Police Department is implementing a program that will soon be mandated by the state of Illinois. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Monticello Police Chief Rob Bross told the Heart Media